checks before taxi. You're going to have to do a departure brief, contact ground, get to the active runway, talk to the tower, and take off. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, normally at this stage there's a specific task flow between the pilot and the co-pilot. But I'm going to let you work both yours and my parts of the checklist, at least the items that you can easily reach from your seat. Okay?
If you have to, I already have a lot to do with my part.
Yeah, I know. But we're going to have to do it that way. That way you can see both seats and how they both do the checklist. So the first thing is to set the flaps to 50%. This is normally done by the co-pilot, but go ahead and be my guest.
Set 50%.
Disable low speed by pressing all 4 low speed ground idle buttons before the ice protection system test.
Okay, low speed is off.
Now, move the engine de-icing switch above your head from auto to on.
It is on.
We're now going to wait for the engine anti-ice on message to show and stay. Normally we do this only on the first flight of the day if icy conditions exist or are anticipated.
Roger.
Good. The caution is on. Move the engine switch back to auto.
Okay, done.
Cycle the anti-ice switch.
Done.
Re-engage the low-speed ground idle buttons.
Low speed set for all 4 engines.
Now we'll perform the stall warning system test, which is called a pusher test. Enter the GCAS install page from the main menu.
There.
Ensure that the stall warning is on, the pusher is on, and when ready, press the LSK next to the pusher test.
Pressed. Nothing happens.
Just wait for it. Hold the control column in the neutral position.
Whoa, it's moving forward.
Stall. Stall. Stall.
Yeah, that means the system's working as intended. Alright, hold the controls to the neutral position, and let's move on to the autopilot. We're going to test his responses to the heading change on the ground and the disengage switch on the yoke.
Okay.
First, press the heading button on the reference set mode select panel.
Okay. I have the heading legend displayed and a yellow vertical bar visible on the PFD.
Yeah, as you should. Now use the heading knob on the heading and course selector control panel to move the light blue bezel on the HO side to say, let's do 150. When ready, enable the autopilot.
The yoke is turning to the right to intercept the desired heading.
Yes. Now disable the heading.
Done.
Play with the wheel on the AFCS control panel. See how the controls react.
Okay. Autopilot. Autopilot.
When ready to move on, press the autopilot button on the yoke.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
I'm getting the AP disengage
Autopilot.
caution.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Press the disengage switch
Autopilot.
again, cancel the warning,
Autopilot.
and then return the flight controls to the neutral
Autopilot.
position. Let me know when you're
Autopilot.
ready to continue.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Okay, let's move on.
Autopilot.
Alright, check the flight controls. Move the control column, yoke, and rudder pedals to their limits in all directions.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Flight controls
Autopilot.
checked.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Good. Halo on the rudder trim is set to 0, as you can see on the gauges above the pilot lighting panel. The elevator trim is set depending on the location of the center of the aircraft's gravity, but today we're pretty light. Okay, what's next? Normally I would close the APU bleed air valve, but I'll go ahead and let you do this.
Closed.
Okay, the air conditioning panel on my side is set. Now all we have to do is turn the radar master switch to on.
Nav radar is on.
Okay, don't forget to close the ramp.
Right. Stand by. Loadmaster, clear the ramp.
Ramp is clear.
Closing the ramp.
And ramp is closed.
Before taxi checks complete. Alright, I want you to pull up the checklist for the departure briefing and read it to me now.
Roger. Stand by. Alright, here we go. Departure briefing. We'll do a left seat, normal takeoff. Takeoff data. Gross weight 129,000. Predicted horsepower 4750. Runway 067. V1 and VR at 106. V2 at 121. Flaps up. Safety speed is 135. Departure procedures. We'll climb to 2,000 feet on runway heading, then 3 nautical miles from Takeoff station we'll turn to 064 and fly to exit east. We will then turn southeast towards waypoint 2 and commence our climb. Noise abatement procedures, keep south from the city of Kutaisi. Transition altitude is 7,000 feet. No hazardous terrain or obstacles during takeoff and departure.
Good. Contact ground and request taxi.
Roger. taxi ground, Heavy 11, request taxi.
Heavy 11, good taxi ground. Taxi Alpha, hold short, runway 07.
Heavy 11, taxi Alpha, hold short, runway 07.
Check the altimeter setting.
Altimeter set to 29.90, reading 160 feet.
Same here. Standby altimeter.
Check, set to 29.90, reading 160 feet.
Departure reveal.
No changes. Initial heading 064, 2,000 feet at exit east.
Departure review complete. Set the radar to monopulse ground map.
MGM is set.
Alright, now it's time to get out of the low-speed ground idle. You can taxi in LSGI mode, but then you need to make sure that the APU is running. If you look at the system status display, you'll see that the APU only generates electrical power right now with all 4 engines in LSGI.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, switch engines 1 and 4 to high-speed ground idle mode.
Done.
Now, check the system status display and wait for both engines to generate power.
Power is up.
Turn the external power APU switch to off.
Done.
Switch engines 2 and 3 to HSGI mode and check the load meters.
Engines 2 and 3 are out of LSGI and generating power.
Okay, reach out and shut down the APU here on my side. Turn it to the stop position.
APU is now off.
Release the parking brake.
Done.
Okay, next we would normally set up our defensive systems, but we can skip it for this flight. And with that, the before takeoff checks are complete. Alright, time to move. Before we do though, a couple of important pointers. So don't touch anything just yet. First of all, try not to use the wheel brakes to control the taxi speed. Instead, use fine thrust changes, okay?
Understood.
Brakes are okay, especially when bringing the aircraft to a full stop, or when taxiing near ground personnel, or places where we can blow up dust or other shit.
Makes sense.
Now to turn, you don't use your rudder pedals. But that wheel to the left from your yoke has a range of 60 degrees to either side. I don't need to tell you to go slowly, especially during tighter turns, and especially when you're heavy.
I am not a big fan of higher speeds. Otherwise, I'd be flying at F-16.
Right. The third thing is the reverse thrust. You're going to want to use it obviously to slow down after landing, but you can also taxi backwards. When you do, make sure you got a loadmaster on the intercom and that he opens the cargo door, lowers the ramp, and gives you instructions.
Roger.
Okay, gently add power and wait for the aircraft to start rolling. Then press on the brakes to stop.
Okay.
Okay, the emergency brakes are working fine. You can disable them now. Remember that as long as they're on, the anti-skid won't work.
Done.
Now check the normal brakes. Taxi ahead a little, then stop once more.
Okay.
Good. Let's move forward to taxiway Alpha, there on the right.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Okay, stop here. Lineup checklist. Pitot and Nisa heat switches to on.
Switches are on.
Set the exterior lights, navigation lights to steady.
Yep.
Top and bottom strobe lights to white. Turn on taxi and wingtip taxi lights.
Set. Lineup checks complete.
Switch to tower. It's channel 3 on U1.
Roger. Press 3 on comm page and confirm with uniform 1. to Dicey Tower, Heavy 1-1 holding short, Alpha, runway 07, ready for departure.
Heavy 1-1, Dicey Tower, clear for takeoff, runway 07, winds are 040 at 08.
Heavy 1-1 cleared for takeoff, runway 07.
Alright, enter the active, line up on the center line.
Roger.
Okay, stop here. When do we forget?
Sandwiches.
Ha, I got mine. We didn't set the tack end for Katesi.
Ah, shit. Right.
Press nav on the CNBP.
Okay.
Type 44 and press T1. You should see the distance in the bottom right part of your PFD.
Done. All set.
Hold the brakes and increase the power to take off. Scan your instruments. When ready, release the brakes. Use nose wheel steering to stay in the middle of the runway. Okay, around this speed the rudder becomes effective. Use it instead of the wheel. Rotation speed. Smoothly pull up on the yoke and climb.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Raise the gear.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Raise the flaps
Autopilot.
down. Keep heading
Autopilot.
068.
Autopilot.
Flaps are up.
Reduce power to max continuous.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Turn to 064 now for exit east.
Autopilot. Autopilot. Autopilot.
Huge IC Tower, Heavy 1-1, passing exit east.
Heavy 1-1, good taxi tower, roger. Clear to resume low navigation and have a good day.
Heavy 1-1, cleared to resume own navigation. Thank you.
Very good. Start climbing and turn towards waypoint 2.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Passing transition altitude.
Setting altimeter for 29.92.
She wasn't very steady in the climb. Remember that it's important to always
Autopilot.
use the aircraft properly.
Autopilot.
Go ahead and turn around so she can
Autopilot.
steer. Don't worry about the
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Okay.
Autopilot.
Alright, I think it's fine now.
Perfect. Now get the digital map on HD2. I want to show you something.
Okay, pressing Dig Map. And then HDD2. Got it.
Okay. You can see our flight plan and also a line with a cross extending from the nose of our aircraft. The cross is the cursor used to move around the map, but now you can use the line extending to it to easily intercept our intended course and get us directly on it and climb to 16,000 feet. Go ahead and do it now.
Roger, getting us on course and altitude of 16,000. We're on course toward waypoint 2 and on altitude.
Perfect. Go ahead and select nav.
Nav selected.
Also, press Alt to hold the current altitude.
Okay, done.
Turn on the other throttles.
AT set.
And finally enable the autopilot. Then we'll have a few minutes to relax and catch our breath before we move on to the next part.
Autopilot enabled. So, now this thing will flow itself to the destination like an airliner?
Not quite, but close. We'll cover that in a moment when we move to navigation and autopilot.